the architect of your destiny. Stoicism, self-mastery, and redefining masculine value. In the intricate dance of human relationships, a subtle yet pervasive struggle unfolds. The battle for control, for influence, for the very narrative that shapes our lives. Too often, men find themselves unknowingly relegated to the role of supporting characters in someone else's story, their actions, emotions, and self-worth dictated by external forces, particularly the opinions and expectations of others. This passive acceptance of a preordained role leads to a gradual erosion of personal power, leaving a void where confidence and self-respect should reside. The insidious nature of this dynamic often goes unnoticed until the consequences become painfully apparent. A feeling of inadequacy, a constant need for validation, and a sense of being perpetually adrift. The modern world bombards men with conflicting messages, promoting superficial ideals of success and happiness that are often unattainable and ultimately unsatisfying. This constant pressure can lead to a desperate pursuit of external validation, a quest for approval that only serves to diminish one's intrinsic value. The true path to empowerment lies not in conforming to these external pressures, but in cultivating an unshakable sense of self-worth that emanates from within. This essay will explore the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy, a powerful framework for reclaiming personal agency, cultivating inner strength, and ultimately, becoming the architect of your own destiny. By understanding and applying these principles, men can break free from the shackles of external validation, redefine their value based on internal virtues, and establish themselves as forces of unwavering resolve and authentic purpose. This is not simply about breaking her ego, a phrase that can be easily misinterpreted. It is about rising above the ego-driven power dynamics that plague relationships, fostering mutual respect and genuine connection based on a foundation of self-awareness and emotional intelligence. It's about constructing a life of profound meaning and purpose, a life that naturally attracts admiration and respect, not through manipulation or control, but through the sheer force of authentic self-mastery. This journey requires a deep introspection, a willingness to confront one's own insecurities and limitations, and a commitment to cultivating virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These are the cornerstones of a truly empowered existence, an existence that transcends the fleeting opinions of others and anchors itself in the unwavering principles of Stoic philosophy. This transformation is not a quick fix, but a lifelong pursuit, a continuous process of self-improvement and refinement. But the rewards are immeasurable, a life of purpose, fulfillment, and genuine connection, a life where you are the master of your own fate, the author of your own story. Rule 1. Stop seeking validation, the citadel of inner worth. One of the most insidious traps that men fall into is the relentless pursuit of validation. This pervasive need for external approval acts as a silent destroyer of self-respect and ultimately undermines the very foundations of a man's value. Think about the subtle ways this plays out in everyday interactions, the anxious double texts, the constant over-explanation of actions, the persistent questioning of whether one has upset someone. Each of these seemingly innocuous behaviors is a tacit surrender of personal power, a handing over of one's sense of worth to the judgment of another. In a world saturated with social media and the constant barrage of curated images and carefully crafted narratives, it is easy to fall into the trap of measuring one's own worth against the perceived success and happiness of others. This constant comparison breeds insecurity and fuels the relentless pursuit of external validation, a never-ending cycle of seeking approval that ultimately leaves one feeling empty and unfulfilled. Women, often unconsciously, are attuned to these displays of insecurity. They do not admire a man who appears desperate for approval, who constantly seeks reassurance, or whose sense of self seems to hinge on their opinion. Instead, they gravitate toward men who exude confidence, who are firm in their sense of self, and who derive their worth from internal sources. The core of the problem lies in the misidentification of the source of one's value. When a man seeks validation from a woman, he essentially appoints her as the judge of his worth, granting her the power to define his self-esteem. This not only diminishes his own self-respect, but also, paradoxically, erodes her respect for him. She perceives this neediness as a sign of weakness, a lack of internal fortitude that is ultimately unattractive. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor of Rome, wisely observed that the approval of others is a fickle thing. It is unreliable, temporary, and often based on factors outside your control. To break free from this destructive cycle, a fundamental shift in perspective is required. The focus must turn inward, away from the external world, and toward the cultivation of inner strength and self-reliance. Instead of basing self-esteem on fleeting indicators such as the speed of a text reply, the presence of compliments, or even the display of interest, a man must anchor his confidence in who he is and what he stands for. This involves identifying and embracing one's core values, pursuing meaningful goals, and developing a strong sense of personal identity. This is not to say that external validation is inherently bad. Positive feedback and encouragement can be beneficial, especially in the context of a healthy relationship. However, it is crucial to avoid becoming dependent on external sources for one's sense of worth. True confidence comes from knowing that you are valuable regardless of what others think. Build your value from within, not from the shifting sands of external validation. Construct a citadel of inner worth, a fortress of self-belief that cannot be shaken by the winds of external opinion. Practical application, the inner audit. A practical exercise to initiate this transformation is to conduct a regular inner audit. The next time you catch yourself seeking a woman's approval, pause and ask yourself, why am I doing this? What does her opinion truly change about who I am? Delve deeper into the underlying motivations driving this behavior. Is it fear of rejection? A desire to please? A deep-seated insecurity? By shining a light on these hidden drivers, you can begin to dismantle their power. You will realize that her opinion holds no real power unless you allow it to. It is merely a perception, a subjective interpretation of your actions and words. It does not define your worth as a human being. It does not diminish your inherent value. It is simply one perspective among many. By letting go of the need for her validation, you not only regain your power, but also become more desirable. Women respect and are attracted to men who do not need their approval to feel worthy. They are drawn to the self-assuredness and independence that radiates from a man who is comfortable in his own skin. Confidence, when untainted by the need for validation, becomes magnetic. It is one of the foundational traits of a high-value man, a man who is not defined by the opinions of others, but by his own internal compass. This is not about arrogance or indifference. It is about having a healthy sense of self-esteem and recognizing that your worth is not contingent on the approval of others. It is about cultivating a deep sense of self-acceptance and understanding that you are valuable simply because you exist. Rule 2. Master the art of silence, the power of unspoken words. Silence, often underestimated, is a potent weapon in the arsenal of self-mastery. When used effectively, it can be a powerful tool for commanding respect, creating intrigue, and maintaining composure in the face of provocation. Most men, conditioned to react and defend, underestimate the profound impact of strategic silence. Picture a scenario where a woman is upset, expecting a reaction, a defense, an argument, a plea for understanding. Instead of succumbing to the expected response, a man who has mastered the art of silence remains calm, composed, and deliberately silent. This is not merely a lack of words. It is a powerful message, a bold and unshakable statement that communicates self-control and unwavering confidence. It subtly conveys, I do not need to prove myself to you. The effectiveness of silence stems from its unsettling nature. Most people are conditioned to expect a response, particularly in emotionally charged situations. When that expectation is denied, they often lose control of the situation. Their attempts to elicit a reaction become futile, and they are forced to confront their own emotions and insecurities. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, articulated the essence of this principle when he said, "He who controls his emotions controls the situation." Silence is a tangible manifestation of that control, a powerful demonstration of emotional regulation. It signifies that a man is not easily swayed by external pressures or emotional outbursts. He remains grounded in his own internal state, unmoved by the attempts of others to provoke him. This is not about suppressing emotions or becoming emotionally detached. It is about recognizing and managing your emotions in a healthy and constructive way. It is about choosing your response rather than reacting impulsively. Silence is a powerful tool for creating space and allowing yourself time to think before you speak. It is about being intentional with your words and not simply reacting to external stimuli. Beyond arguments, silence as intrigue. However, the power of silence extends beyond arguments and confrontations. It is also a valuable tool for creating intrigue and fostering deeper connections. Imagine being on a date and, instead of oversharing or rushing to fill every gap in the conversation, allowing the silence to linger, maintaining confident eye contact, remaining present in the moment, and allowing the unspoken energy to build. This creates tension, mystery, and an unspoken sense of authority. It signals that you are comfortable in your own skin, that you're not afraid of quiet moments, and that you're not driven by a need to constantly entertain. In a world saturated with noise and constant stimulation, silence can be a refreshing and alluring contrast. It allows for deeper reflection, for more meaningful connection, and for a greater appreciation of the present moment. It also allows the other person to lean into the moment, to become more engaged, and to reveal more of themselves. To master this practice, cultivate comfort with silence in your daily life. Resist the urge to over-explain yourself or justify your actions. If questioned, respond only when necessary and with purpose. Let your words be carefully chosen and delivered with intention. When you speak less, your words carry more weight. They become more impactful, more meaningful, and more memorable. Remember, silence is not passive. It is active. It is a deliberate choice, a conscious decision to remain composed when chaos surrounds you. It is holding your ground when someone tries to provoke a reaction. It is communicating confidence without saying a word. It is a powerful expression of self-control, self-respect, and self-awareness. That is the art of silence, and when you master it, you become a force to be reckoned with, a man who commands respect and admiration without uttering a single word. This is not about being aloof or distant. It is about being present and intentional in your interactions. It is about listening more than you speak and allowing the other person to feel heard and understood. Rule 3. Build an irresistible life. The magnetism of purpose. The most magnetic men are not those who chase attention, but those who have built lives worth living. They are driven by a passion for their goals, an ambition for their future, and a deep-seated commitment to personal growth. This inherent drive is not only attractive, it is unstoppable. Ask yourself, are you chasing her attention, or are you chasing your purpose? The answer to this question reveals the core of your self-worth and dictates the trajectory of your life. If your world revolves around a woman, she will eventually lose respect for you. This is not a reflection of her character, but a consequence of human nature. When you prioritize her needs and desires above your own, you signal a lack of direction, a dependence on her for happiness and fulfillment. This neediness is ultimately unattractive and undermines the very qualities that initially drew her to you. Instead of obsessing over her Instagram stories or waiting for her to text back, redirect your focus towards leveling up your own life. Invest your time and energy in building your empire, your career, your skills, your passions, your physical and mental well-being. This is not about neglecting relationships or becoming self-absorbed. It is about creating a balanced and fulfilling life that is not dependent on the approval or attention of others. It is about developing a strong sense of self and pursuing your goals with passion and determination. Focus on improving your fitness, expanding your knowledge, and pursuing hobbies that make you feel alive. Engage in activities that challenge you, that push you outside of your comfort zone, and that contribute to your personal growth. Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By redirecting your thoughts towards self-improvement, you elevate your value, not just in the eyes of others, but in your own estimation. When you are busy building a life that excites you, she will notice. She will observe your dedication, your passion, and your unwavering commitment to your goals. Her ego will take a hit when she realizes she is no longer the center of your universe, when she sees that your happiness is not dependent on her presence. Imagine this scenario. While she's scrolling through social media, you are at the gym, reading a book, or learning a new skill. You are out there making moves, pursuing your passions, and creating a life of purpose. Meanwhile, she is wondering why you are so focused and driven. That is the power of creating a life that is irresistible, not just to her, but to anyone who crosses your path. It is a life that emanates confidence, competence, and a quiet sense of self-assurance. The ripple effect of self-improvement. This commitment to self-improvement has a ripple effect, impacting every aspect of your life. It enhances your confidence, improves your relationships, and increases your overall sense of well-being. It also makes you a more attractive partner, as people are naturally drawn to those who are passionate, driven, and constantly striving to become the best versions of themselves. Building an irresistible life is not about achieving external success or accumulating material possessions. It is about cultivating inner strength, developing meaningful relationships, and contributing to something larger than yourself. It is about living a life of purpose and meaning, a life that is aligned with your values and that brings you genuine joy and fulfillment. It is about becoming the best version of yourself and inspiring others to do the same. It is about leaving a positive impact on the world and making a difference in the lives of others. Rule 4. Set boundaries like a king, defining your worth. Boundaries are not simply about saying no. They are about defining your worth, establishing your limits, and protecting your emotional and mental well-being. Every high-value man understands that setting boundaries is a non-negotiable skill, a fundamental requirement for maintaining self-respect and commanding respect from others. Without boundaries, you invite chaos into your life, allowing others to dictate your actions, emotions, and even your sense of worth. Women will test you. It is not a personal attack, but a natural aspect of human interaction. They may probe your limits, challenge your values, or attempt to manipulate you into compromising your principles. How you respond to these tests determines whether she respects you or walks all over you. It is a subtle dance of power and influence, where the ability to assert and enforce boundaries becomes paramount. The key is to calmly but firmly enforce your boundaries. If she crosses a line, do not react with anger or emotional outbursts. Instead, clearly and concisely communicate that certain behaviors are unacceptable. Use phrases such as, "That doesn't work for me," or "I'm not comfortable with that." Be direct, assertive, and unwavering in your communication. Avoid apologizing or making excuses for setting boundaries. You have the right to protect your own well-being and to define the terms of your interactions. When you do this, you are not being controlling. You are being self-respecting. You are communicating that you value yourself and that you will not tolerate disrespect or manipulation. Controlling your response, not her actions. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, emphasized that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Setting boundaries is not about controlling her actions. It is about controlling your response. It is about standing firm in your values and refusing to compromise your self-respect, regardless of the pressure you may face. This requires a deep understanding of your own values and a clear sense of what you are willing to accept and what you are not. It also requires the courage to stand up for yourself, even in the face of potential conflict or disapproval. When you enforce boundaries, you shift the power dynamic. You are no longer chasing her approval or tolerating disrespect. You are showing her that you are a man who knows his worth, a man who is not easily swayed, and a man who will not compromise his principles. That is incredibly attractive. Women are drawn to men who are strong, confident, and self-assured. They respect men who have the courage to stand up for themselves and to protect their own well-being. Setting boundaries is not about creating conflict or pushing people away. It is about establishing healthy relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. It is about creating a safe and supportive environment where both individuals can thrive. Rule 5. Detach emotionally, the art of wise caring. Emotional detachment does not mean ceasing to care. It means ceasing to overcare, to become overly invested in the emotions and actions of another person. Most men make the mistake of becoming too emotionally invested too quickly, leading to a loss of personal power and a vulnerability to manipulation. When you are emotionally detached, you become unpredictable, and unpredictability keeps her intrigued. It challenges her assumptions, forces her to reevaluate her expectations, and ultimately increases your perceived value. The concept of emotional detachment is often misunderstood. It is not about becoming cold, heartless, or indifferent. It is about cultivating a sense of inner peace and stability that is not dependent on the external world. It is about recognizing that you cannot control the emotions or actions of others, and that your own happiness and well-being should not be contingent on their behavior. Instead of obsessing over her feelings, focus on controlling your own. Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus only on what we can control: our thoughts, our actions, and our reactions. You cannot control how she feels about you, but you can control how you react to her actions. You can choose to remain calm and composed, to respond with reason and logic, and to avoid getting swept up in emotional turmoil. When you detach, you free yourself from the emotional roller coaster. You stop seeking reassurance or approval and start living for yourself. You are no longer driven by a need to please or to avoid conflict. You are free to pursue your own goals, to express your own opinions, and to live your life according to your own values. The balance of caring wisely. This does not mean that you do not care about her feelings or that you are indifferent to her needs. It means that you care wisely, that you protect your peace, and that you prioritize your growth. It means that you're able to offer support and compassion without becoming emotionally entangled. Detachment is about balance. Care, but do not overextend. Love, but do not lose yourself. It is about maintaining a sense of perspective and recognizing that you are responsible for your own happiness and well-being. When you master this skill, you become a man who is impossible to manipulate. You're no longer vulnerable to emotional blackmail or guilt trips. You're able to make decisions based on reason and logic, rather than being swayed by emotions. This is the kind of man every woman respects, a man who is strong, independent, and emotionally stable. It is a man who is able to offer support and compassion without sacrificing his own well-being. Emotional detachment is not about avoiding relationships or becoming emotionally unavailable. It is about cultivating healthy relationships based on mutual respect, understanding, and a strong sense of self. It is about creating a safe and supportive environment where both individuals can thrive. Rule 6. Be unapologetically authentic. The power of true self. Authenticity is a rare and precious commodity in a world saturated with pretense and superficiality. Most men dilute their opinions, hide their true selves, or conform to societal expectations in an attempt to avoid conflict or rejection. However, the truth is that women respect men who are unapologetically authentic, even if it means disagreeing with them. They are drawn to the genuine article, to the man who is true to himself and who is not afraid to express his own unique perspective. Being authentic means standing by your values and beliefs without fear of judgment. It means speaking your mind honestly and owning your truth, even when it is unpopular or uncomfortable. It means being willing to be vulnerable and to share your flaws and imperfections, rather than trying to project an image of perfection. Marcus Aurelius urged, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Stop worrying about whether she will agree with you or like you. Instead, focus on being the man you are proud to be, the man who is aligned with your values, and who is living a life of purpose and meaning." Authenticity is not just about honesty. It is about courage. It is about having the confidence to be yourself, even when it is difficult. It is about embracing your individuality and celebrating your uniqueness. Untouchable through authenticity. When you are authentic, you become untouchable. You are no longer seeking external validation, so you are immune to criticism and judgment. You are living in alignment with your true self, and that gives you a sense of inner peace and strength that cannot be taken away. Authenticity is not about being arrogant or self-righteous. It is about being genuine, sincere, and respectful of others, even when you disagree with them. It is about expressing your opinions with honesty and conviction, but without being condescending or judgmental. When you are authentic, you attract people who are drawn to your true self. You build relationships based on genuine connection and mutual respect. You create a safe and supportive environment where others feel comfortable being themselves. Authenticity is not about changing yourself to fit in. It is about embracing your individuality and celebrating your uniqueness. It is about finding your tribe, the people who appreciate you for who you are and who support you in your journey to become the best version of yourself. Rule 7. Break free from your own ego, transcending the power struggle. The final rule is not about breaking her ego. It is about breaking free from your own. Your ego is the part of you that drives insecurity, jealousy, and the need to prove yourself. It is the source of much suffering and conflict in your life. When you let go of these destructive traits, you transcend the games and power struggles that plague relationships and operate on a higher level of consciousness. Breaking free from your ego means focusing on growth, purpose, and inner peace. It means rising above petty conflicts and operating from a place of love, compassion, and understanding. It means recognizing that you're not your ego, that you are more than your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you're no longer ruled by your ego, you become unstoppable. You're no longer chasing approval or validation. You are living for yourself, and that is when you become the high-value man she cannot ignore. This requires a deep introspection, a willingness to confront your own flaws and imperfections, and a commitment to continuous self-improvement. It means recognizing that you are not perfect, that you will make mistakes, and that you can learn from your experiences. It also means forgiving yourself for your past mistakes and moving forward with a renewed sense of purpose. Living beyond the ego. Living beyond the ego is not about suppressing your emotions or denying your needs. It is about recognizing that your emotions and needs do not define you. It is about cultivating a sense of inner peace and stability that is not dependent on external circumstances. It is about finding joy and fulfillment in the present moment, rather than constantly striving for future goals. It is about appreciating the simple things in life and cultivating gratitude for what you have. Breaking free from your ego is a lifelong journey, a continuous process of self-discovery and self-improvement. It is not about achieving a state of perfection, but about striving to become the best version of yourself. It is about living a life of purpose and meaning, a life that is aligned with your values and that brings you genuine joy and fulfillment. It is about leaving a positive impact on the world and making a difference in the lives of others. Conclusion. The path to becoming a high-value man is not a quest for external validation or a pursuit of dominance in relationships. It is an inward journey, a process of self-discovery, self-mastery, and the cultivation of unshakable inner strength. By embracing the principles of Stoic philosophy, men can break free from the traps of ego-driven behavior, redefine their value based on internal virtues, and build lives of purpose, meaning, and genuine connection. True strength is not found in controlling others, but in controlling oneself. It is not found in seeking approval, but in cultivating self-respect. It is not found in chasing fleeting pleasures, but in pursuing lasting values. The journey of self-improvement is a lifelong pursuit, a continuous process of learning, growing, and evolving. But the rewards are immeasurable: a life of purpose, fulfillment, and authentic connection, a life where you are the architect of your own destiny, the master of your own fate. Embrace the challenge, cultivate the virtues, and embark on the path to becoming the high-value man you were always meant to be. This is not about conforming to societal expectations or achieving external success. It is about becoming the best version of yourself, living a life of purpose and meaning, and making a positive impact on the world. It is about finding joy and fulfillment in the present moment and cultivating gratitude for what you have.